no sleep. He had 4 cups of wine. So he starts doing his Chad Gadya and someone else is Seder. And I was like, what the hell are you doing? We're not home. So he starts doing it. Fortunately, me and 2 other people had heard this before. And so we picked up the background. The entire room was like picked it up. Precisely. I'm out. Whatever. I'm out. I already burned my voice out once doing this. So basically, so the whole room picked it up. It went over very well. It was so good that the person whose house we were staying at, when we went back there the next time, they were like, you have to record this. So me and my brother and another guy, we were actually recording it, him doing the melody, me and the other guy doing the background. So the next year, we're 10, and 7th day of Pesach comes, it was starting with home. 7th day of Pesach comes, and we wind up, there's a tish, and I was tired, so I went to sleep. So my brother was in a tish, I think it was 4 away at the time, and he does this song, and a couple people were there, and it went over pretty well. The next day, he was somewhere else for lunch, but I was at dining, and someone's like, you gotta do this Chad Gadya. I was like, what Chad? What your brother did last night? I'm like, all right, so I'm doing it at a table, I do it in the old Hill of West, Strikes, and it went over pretty well, people liked it. That night, 8th day of Pesach, my brother, like, you gotta do this again. So my brother's sitting there, and to hear him tell the story, so he gets down there, he's like, so I'm going, and I'm, shaking, and I'm doing the arm thing, and whatever that he stole from Avi Ray, and he doesn't admit it, but he stole it from Avi Ray. And he says, I noticed halfway through, like, the background was loud, so his eyes are closed, and at the end, he's doing it, he's swinging his arm, he finally picks his head up, he finishes, and the whole room, all of this huge room, it's like half the size of the bowling alley, basically applauds. And, so it was like, wow, that was awesome. So whoever was in charge, I think it was the Gaba at the time, was like, next year you gotta do this at Torah. So it's at Torah in the old hill, my brother does. So this perpetuated itself through the last 3 years that my brother and I were here, last 3 years my brother and I were here as undergraduates. So my brother left, and the Chad Gadya kind of stayed. He tried to make sure that someone else would do it. As it turns out, apparently it did stay, because when I came back, in 2008, it was still here. I did it again at Torah. And this year, Torah wasn't here, but I think it was still done.
It was still done.
It was still done, thanks God. So, whatever. So that's the basic story. The core of the story is that Aaron asked where it came from. So it's not a family minhag. Moshe obviously didn't invent it. I was at my grandparents' house 5 or so years ago before he passed, and he has a record player. You know what a record player is, guys? You've heard of record players?
It's a round thingy, right?
Yeah, it's a round thingy. It's a black disc. You put a needle on there and it plays. So he had a record of this old chazan named Moshe Oisher, old school chazan, and he had this version of Chad Gadya. It sounded a little different because instead of having it had like a fiddle and whatnot, but it was the same tune. And so he finally tracked down back, some years after the whole thing. It was an old chazan named Moshe Oisher who came up with this tune, which somehow made its way to Moshe Wild Rose, made its way to my brother, which made its way to Penn.
Where did you hear it?
Wild Rose is a city.